Greetings and welcome to the Whiskey Lover Society with me, Gert Retief. Tonight we are looking at Indri Single Malt Whiskey from India, bottled at 46% ABV, non-chill filtered, natural color from the Piccadilly distilleries in India. They are based at the foothills of the Himalaya near the Yamuna Basin in India. So quite looking forward to this one. It is also referred to as Indri Trini, which refers to the three casks that they are using: ex-bourbon cask, ex-red wine cask, and of course ex-Pedro M&S cask. Now, for the people that have been following my channel, and of course all my lovely subscribers, I think they all know that I do have a little bit of a sweet tooth. I do like a little bit of a sherry whiskey. Sorry about the noise. The neighbors are drilling again. I don't know how they always find the time to drill every time that I want to make a video. But of course, hopefully the microphone will not pick up everything. This is definitely not going to be a long video. It is something that I unfortunately only could get a sample. I did check at my online store and the full bottle was not available. But I managed to get a little bit of a sample, quite cheap. I think we pay €4.50 for the sample. And we're just going to give it a quick nose and a taste, get my opinion on it. Well, do I like it or don't I like it? Now, with the ex-bourbon cask, the red wine cask, the Pedro M&S sherry cask, that is the type of whiskey that I do like. So color-wise, it is natural color, non-chill filtered, does have a lovely, almost amber color to it, and no age statement. Well, not so, I've got no idea how old the whiskey is going to be in it, but of course we're talking India, so you have extreme temperatures. And even a 3-4-year-old whiskey can mature actually so much faster than the cold temperatures in Scotland. So I expect quite a lot from this one. So I'm quite looking forward to this one. I've done a couple of reviews from India. Amrut, quite lovely. I also do love the sweet whiskies. Even the peated whiskies has always got a nice, lovely sweetness to it. I also have the Paul John, the Christmas edition 2021. I really like that one. So maybe do a quick comparison in the end. I did pour it already, just to see what is the difference between the different distilleries. So Piccadilly Distillery, I do like the name Piccadilly. It reminds me so much going to the UK. But anyway, on the whiskey itself, lovely color, 46% ABV. Wow. Now, this is definitely something that I enjoy. I enjoy that Christmas cake in a glass note, and it reminds me so much of my mom. Every year she would bake Christmas cake, and not one or two. I'm talking for maybe 50, 60 of them. And the whole neighborhood would stand in line basically to get one of these Christmas cakes. So lovely richness, a lovely sweet, complex notes. And my mom used to put, once it comes out of the oven, she will put brandy on it, loads and loads of brandy. And this Christmas cake you can actually keep for a year, as long as you every now and again add a cup of brandy just to keep it nice and moist. Now, after like a good wine, that Christmas cake develops, and the richness and the darkness of that fruity flavors coming out. The longer you wait, the better it gets. Now I get that same lovely sweet notes, that raisiny notes, that little bit of a date note, that cherries, that crystallized cherries that goes into it. So all those fruits and with that brandy mixing, giving you this lovely flavors coming out. So the nose-wise, sherry. Absolutely, that Pedro Jimenez sherry, it's unmistakable. And then I also get a little spicy vanilla coming out, a little bit of a cinnamon, but not much, but it's still moving towards that Christmas cake. And a little bit of a dark chocolate note also appearing. There's a little bit of an oakiness, a little bit of an oak spice coming out, but not much, not a lot of oak on the nose, but definitely something tells me there's some oak or oaky smell to it. Now it's bottled at 46% ABV. Now I really don't get that 46%. Normally, especially the young whiskies, you get that little bit of a youthful note. I don't get any of that. Very well balanced, even with a little bit of an agitation. I'm not getting that strong alcohol at 46% ABV. It feels like a 40% ABV whiskey. A really dangerous one. Definitely not going to add water. The loveliness of this, the sweetness of it, is definitely something that I don't want to mess with. Perfect for me at 46%. I get the sherry. I get that little bit of that bourbon notes coming out. So I'm not sure how wet the cask was. But definitely it does show that little bourbon notes. If you're a bourbon lover, you like that little butterscotchy note, that little bit of a sugary note. I get it in this one as well. But not getting that red wine cask. Now I did 2 reviews not so long ago with a ex-Bordeaux red wine cask, and it had a little bit of a funky note, the Rase. They used the red wine cask. It had a little strange note for me, not off-putting. So I was thinking maybe I'm going to get the same in this one, also ex-red wine. Definitely not getting any wine notes. If I would have guessed, blindfolded, bourbon and sherry cask. Definitely not a red wine cask. So very pleasant, very sweet, and yeah, not complex. That's the notes that I get. A little bit of a fruity note, a little bit of a peach note coming out as well. Really nice. But of course we need to taste it as well. So, cheers. Oh wow. Oh wow. If you're into sweet whiskies, if you like me, I got a little bit of a sweet tooth. Well, if you're diabetic, I think this is also going to be dangerous. It is really sweet. You definitely get the sherry notes. That Pedro Jimenez sherry is shining through. You get that raisins. You get that Christmas cake in your glass as well. You get that vanilla. And I get a little bit of a chocolate note as well, like a dark chocolate, but not really very bitter. And you get that like chocolate covered raisins, that lovely sweetness, that contrast between the chocolate and the sweetness of the raisins. Really pleasant. Let me just give it another try. Even at that 46% ABV, I don't feel it. It is very mellow. There's no sharp edges. There's nothing that will just kick your teeth in. It just brings sweet chocolate, raisins, and a little bit of a tannin on the second sip. The first one, not much of the tannins, no, not really much bitterness. The second one definitely brought a little bit of a bitter note, very little bitter note, a hint of it, just to bring that little bit of a extra sweetness a little bit down. Oh my word, this is really nice. So, just one more sip. And the funny thing is, even at 46% ABV, I can take quite a big sip. There's a little bit of a warmth, a little bit of a heat showing up, but nothing excessive, just the sweetness. Let me just try it one more time. Even at the big sip, I took quite a big one there. A little warmth, but it's just sweet, sweet, sweet. That chocolatey note actually building up a little bit. So the third sip that I took, a little bit more on the dark chocolate note. And I think a little bit of an increase again of the tannins, a little bit of a bitter note. And I think in this case, we really need that extra little bit of a bitter note just to balance out the sweetness of it. That Pedro Jimenez sherry brought a lot to this one. But as I said as well, just do a little bit of a comparison with the whiskies. Not always, I don't always do it. For the simple reason, not all whiskies are created equal. So I thought it was a good idea. There's something that I've been raving about. Of course, we're talking about the Paul John Indian Single Malt Whiskey. This one is also ex-bourbon cask, and they finish in a Madeira cask. So a little bit different. And this one is bottled at 46% ABV, so same alcohol, also natural color, non-chill filter, but as you can see, quite a lot darker, maybe 2 shades darker, a little bit more bolder, a little bit more sweeter, if that's even possible, definitely a lot sweeter, and I really didn't think that is possible, but once you put the two next to each other, I was expecting the Pedro Jimenez one to be a little bit darker, a little bit sweeter, but other than the sweetness of it, it's a lot similar, and they both are fantastic. This one for me is a little bit more, the Paul John, is a little bit more of a dark fruit maybe. Also a little bit of that varnish note coming out. So between the two of them, I must admit, I do like the Paul John, but I think the lightness of the Indri is for me fantastic. It's more little subtle than the Paul John. Definitely a winner in my books. So, will I recommend it? Oh, absolutely. I think it is like €42 for a bottle. I think it is I think it is a good price. If you can find this, definitely give it a go. Definitely going to buy a full bottle of this one, if I can find it. So really enjoy it. Let me know what you think. Have you tried it? Is it something that you would recommend to your friends? And of course, as always, remember to like and subscribe. And I see you next time. Cheers.